Creative people have the ability to look at something ordinary and see something extraordinary. Such is the case in Yancey County, where this former landfill is a clever disguise for something quite remarkable. Because under this quiet mountain hillside, the landfill is creating something useful: methane gas. Yes, the same methane greenhouse gas there's so much environmental concern about. Some local folks wanted to see if they could put some of this power to use, heating greenhouses. So they secured an EPA grant to find out just how much gas there actually was down there.
And it was much more than they had guessed. It was a significant amount of gas, to the extent that Handmade in America came into the conversation, and they decided to not only do greenhouse operations, but to also incorporate craft studios into the Energy Exchange idea.
And so Energy Exchange was born. Part greenhouse, part clay and glass blowing studio, plus a retail gallery, all housed in these unassuming Quonset hut-style structures right beside the source of the energy needed to fire up all this creativity. There's plenty of technology involved, to be sure, but mechanically it's quite simple. Several wells drilled into the landfill are connected to a central collection station.
We have a little pump that pulls that methane, helps that methane along its way, and keeps our pressure. Under 2 pounds of pressure probably on methane. If the pressure exceeds on our gauges and we're getting a lot of coming into it, we'll light the flare, burn it off, other than letting it escape or try to come out somewhere that's not supposed to.
Right now, the pressure is about 1.5 pounds, barely enough to register on this gauge. But it's enough to power the glass furnaces 24 hours a day, and the pottery kiln at the same time when needed.
What is really unique about Energy Exchange is the fact that we're using landfill gas from a very, very small landfill, and that we're using it for craft studios.
Not only that, but it's sort of environmental. I mean, I'm using methane, so it needs to be burned to reduce greenhouse gases, whereas otherwise I'd be burning propane, huge amounts of propane, so I don't have to feel quite so guilty about working hard, you know.
We rent this studio space and the glass blowing equipment, and we use the free methane to fuel the furnaces, and you know, we have a gallery on site, credit card terminal. It's a great thing for people starting out in business. I mean, I couldn't afford to do any of this on my own.
You blow lightly?
The mission of Energy Exchange is much more than about just using landfill gas. It's about improving the local economy. It's different from traditional art studio residencies in that we're really focusing on the business incubation standpoint of it.
I think for the stage that I am in my career, it is one of the best places that you could possibly come to as far as residency positions go, because I had a good deal of experience in making pots prior to being here, but I had very, very little experience in actually selling my work and being part of the business end of having a pottery studio of my own.
So when I came to the Energy Exchange, I had been making pots for a long time, but I hadn't been making a living selling pottery. And so having a studio where people come up and visit and see my work gave me a lot of exposure. So my work was marketed just by being here.
The reputation of Energy Exchange has spread far and wide, enough so that Heather is often busy giving tours to interested groups. Today, it's students from a nearby community college. Visitors are always fascinated when they stop to watch a work of art being created right before their eyes.
We have a media-specific jury that basically decides what artists can come to Energy Exchange, but then they also serve as mentors to the artists. And they help them not only with their art, but also with the development of their business.
The other half of the business operation is the greenhouse, Project Branch Out.
And within the greenhouse operations, we have two different things going on. One is the aquaponics demonstration, and this is strictly a demonstration that we have here, where we're raising tilapia, and then with circulating the water from the tilapia tanks, we're raising herbaceous plants, which would be salad greens and herbs, that sort of thing. The much larger part of our greenhouse operation is the production of the native flowering plants to the mountain area.
We grow rhododendron max, we grow rhododendron catawbas, pinkster bloom azaleas. This is the flame azaleas. And we do this because they're getting very scarce out in the wild, so we co-collect our own seed, and we do this to save our plants that are out in the wild.
And the way that we heat our greenhouses is a radiant heat system, where we have boilers that are heating water using the landfill gas as a fuel source, and then the hot water is circulated through microtubing or finned pipes that then just radiates the heat into the greenhouse.
Energy exchange is a great lesson in what might be called adaptive reuse of a resource that otherwise would go to waste, and perhaps eventually percolate up through the ground and add to our atmospheric woes.
And what they thought was that it would be basically a lifetime of 25 years from the point of capping, which was 1994. So we're right now at the midlife. And of course the production of